The most interesting guests. The coolest conversations. Keep watching episodes of the Grizzly Podcast, hosted by Irvin Scott. Follow the Grizzly Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and many more apps to have our episodes delivered right to your iPhone, Android, or any other device whenever they're released.
So what does it mean to be on your Grizzly? It means hard work, dedication, and it means progress. Be on your Grizzly. Hard work, dedication, and progress.
I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. And if you're busy making moves, say it with me. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. I'm on my Grizzly, y'all. I'm on my Grizzly. And if you're busy making moves, say it with me.
Coming to you from the City of Angels, this is the Grizzly Podcast, hosted by Irvin Scott.
Welcome to another edition of the Grizzly Podcast. My name is Irvin Scott, and today I am joined by radio personality, philanthropist, and TV host. She's currently on air on 93.5 KDAY, Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest today, Cece, the Mamacita Valencia. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be on your podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you taking the time to be here, and being that this is the Grizzly Podcast, you embody everything that we do on the show. The term Grizzly is being on your grind. You're somebody that's always on their hustle. You know, you've been grinding for quite a long time. You've been in radio for more than 15 years. Media is what you do. So thank you for being a part of this.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a long time I've been in media.
Being that you've been involved with radio for more than 15 years now, tell us a little bit more about how you got started in radio.
Well, I actually was doing television, and I was at a station called LATV over like 17, 18 years ago. So I had mentioned on a segment that at the time I was living in the IE. So I'd mentioned something about living in the IE, crazy incident. The program director gets in touch with me from a news station called Wild 96 and asked me if I was interested in doing radio. At that point, I said, yeah, I'm interested. If I could do television, I could do radio. Completely wrong. Radio is so much harder to me. And after the third week, I literally quit. I had my resignation letter. I was like, this is not for me. I don't think that I'm good at this. I think I should stick to television. And the program director was like, look, if I didn't think you had what it takes, I would not have hired you. Give yourself 3 to 6 months. And if you feel that way in 6 months, you can bring me the resignation letter and I'll accept it. Well, almost 18 years later, here I am. And thank God, shout out to Picasso, thank God that he didn't accept my resignation letter. But yeah, that's how it worked out. And I've been doing radio ever since. And I was doing radio at Wild 96.1 in the IE for like 4 or 5 years. Then I went to Vegas for 5 years at Hot 97.5. Then I came back and I came to KDAY for a couple years. Then I left KDAY and went to Latino 96.3 for a couple years. Then I actually flew to Atlanta, Georgia, and I was gonna do radio with Ricky Smiley in Atlanta, Georgia. Like I flew there, I was there for a week, and then KDAY had called me and told me they wanted me to come back. So of course, being from LA, I took the next flight and I came back home, and I've been here ever since, and I love it. And KDAY is the one station out of all the radio stations I've been to. KDAY was the one station that I manifested, and that I was like, look, I love hip hop. This is where I'm from. I'd rather be working. Like, if anything, I want to work at the first hip hop station in the world. KDAY is the first hip hop station in the world. And to be working at the legendary KDAY was something that I prayed on and I manifested. And I've been here ever since. And I love it. And KDAY is my baby, man. Like, for real. Like, there's a lot of radio personalities that work at different radio stations that might not be too happy where they're at. I am so blessed because this is where I'm at. This is me. KDAY is who I am. So I just got lucky. I love it. I have a great support staff around me, and I have a great co-host. Obviously, you guys know Romeo's like super chill. So he's like super laid back. I mean, who can't work with him? He's so easy. And then I have my own show in the middays that I'm good.
So aside from working in radio, you also got a chance to work on television. You did work for J-Lo's Nouveau TV. You were a part of the collective. What was it like working for that show?
It was the most amazing experience of my entire life. Jennifer Lopez, listen, to work for J-Lo is just a different experience. She expects a lot from you. You can't bullshit her. Okay. She's an international superstar. You really can't outwork her. But she expects a certain level of professionalism and she wants shit to get done the right way. And that's just what it was. She really made me level up. But at the end of the day, what a lot of people don't know, because they're like, oh my God, was it working with J-Lo? Was it hard? It wasn't. Jennifer Lopez treated me so amazing. In radio, we got to do our own research. We have to hustle half the time on our own. We have no help. You know how it is in radio. And the fact that I got to be there and J-Lo, like, she had my dressing room ready, my makeup artist, my hairstylist, my PA, my assistant. And I'm just like, oh my God. And it was such a culture shock to me because I'm so used to doing everything myself. So like I went up after I got my makeup done for one segment, I went and got my coffee at the kitchen. And the PA comes and says, you have to tell me I could do these things for you. This is what I'm here for. And I don't know if it's like the Mexican in me or I'm just so down to earth, but I'm like, no, I could do this myself. You don't need to get this for me. It was like so weird for me, but she treated me so good. And I really want people to understand that because sometimes I feel like she has like maybe a negative stigma sometimes to her, but unless you have been able to sit down and talk to her and really have a conversation, she's amazing, dude. And Jennifer Lopez taught me what my worth is, and I will give it to her. And she treated me with so much respect, and she doesn't bullshit. She pays. You know what I mean? So she's probably one of the top business women that I really was like, I learned a lot from her. I really did.
And I can imagine J-Lo's also a perfectionist. She wants shit done a certain way. So, if there's some sort of stigma behind like how she is as a person, it's probably because she just wants to get shit done, Exactly.
And the good thing is that she wants things done a certain way. But what's dope about Jennifer is that she gives you all the tools so that you don't fail. So she's like, I want things done a certain way, but I give you all the tools to get it done a certain way. So it was amazing working with her. I loved working with her. When I first found out, I was like, oh my God. Wait, what? I'm working for Jennifer Lopez? Like, this is crazy. But she really taught me to level up. And I really appreciate that because working with her was like my moment of growth.
Cece, you've been involved in everything from radio to television. You were also spotlighted in National Geographic's July 2018 article, How Latinos Are Shaping America's Culture. What was it like being a part of that? And how did that come about?
It was so dope. I think, to be honest, I'm the only radio personality that was featured in National Geographic at that time. But what they reached out to me was that they wanted to showcase Latinos that were doing different things. They were like, you know what? Latinos are starting to venture out in different businesses that we've never really done before. I mean, I'm Mexican, second generation, and I'm the only person in my family that's in the radio. They would never think to do something like that. Our families come from get a steady job, get a steady paycheck, get a 401k plan, health benefits, and you're good, right? But we come from the new era of where we're like, no, we want to make our dreams come true. And we have these passions and these dreams. And so that's what they really wanted to focus on. And I was doing something that was a little out the box and not considered traditional jobs. So that's why they featured me. And it was exciting. I was like excited. And the girl was super cool that photographed me, and she wanted to travel with me. And I'm like, okay, we're going to Chris Brown's party. Let's go. We went. But it was cool. It was kind of cool to be featured. I don't talk too much about the certain accolades that I got because I try to tell myself don't look back. You know what I mean? At your wins, just keep going. But that was one that I had to sit back and take and be like, wow, like this is crazy. This little girl from the hood is actually in National Geographic. You know what I mean? This is bananas. But I really wanted to promote and get out there that Latinos, we can do anything. We can do anything we put our minds to it. We don't have to do the traditional jobs if we don't want to. There's so many tools now to really help us and make our dreams come true.
You were also part of Rockstar Games Grand Theft Auto 5, which is another thing that I think is amazing. I mean, what's it feel like to be a part of a video game that's so popular, such as GTA 5?
Let me tell you, I didn't even know I was voicing for that game. So Rockstar hit me up and they were like, we want you to voice for a game. We can't tell you what the game is, but we're willing to pay you. Come in and voice. All right, bet. And I'm not even going to lie. I did it because I needed the money. So I was like, okay, good. You guys are going to pay me. Let's do this. And when I got there, they show you the character. Like you have like papers that are stapled together. And in the front page, it's the character, what it looks like. So you can kind of embody it. And then you turn the page and then it's the voiceover work. And so when I got there, I was like, okay, they had me play a gangbanger, but it's fine. It was hilarious. I was like, I could do it. And I did it. And I had no idea. And people were like, do you know what game? And I was like, I don't know. I just know I played like a gangbanger, but I don't know what game. And I left it alone and collected my check and that was out until somebody hits me up and they're like, yo, see, I think you're going to be on Grand Theft Auto 5. And I'm like, no, I think it's something else. And then that's when Rockstar hit me up and other people, and they're like, it's Grand Theft Auto 5. And I'm like, get out of here. Are you serious? This is crazy. Till this day, I've never seen myself. I've never played the game. I don't even know what I sound like. One of my homeboys was like, my little brother was playing it and I'm in the other room and I'm like, Cece's here? Like they heard my voice. But then they're like, oh, it's the game. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, I know who I am. I know what I look like in the game and my character, but I'm not a gamer. I'm just honored though, that everybody that plays it, like, I'm like, oh, this is a big game, huh? And everybody's like, Cece, this is like the biggest game in the world right now. And I'm like, get out of here. This is dope. So yeah, it feels good. It feels good.
You know what's crazy is that game, like I think was released a couple of years ago, and to this day it's still popular. Like they just recently came out with the Dre feature on there, right? Like Dr. Dre's part of it now with DJ Pooh.
Yeah, and I think that game that we did, Grand Theft Auto 5, when it came out a few years ago, I think it was the highest selling game in the history of games, like of all of it. Yeah. And I think it's still up there, that it hasn't really been touched. So it's a blessing.
You appeared in the comedy drama film Chocolate City Vegas Strip alongside Vivica A. Fox, Mekhi Phifer, Genuine. What was it like playing DJ Cece on that movie?
And do you know, to this day, I have never even seen that movie. I don't watch anything that I'm on, whether it's film or movies, television. I don't watch anything back. And that's a personal issue with me because my family gets so mad because they're like, watch it. I'm like, no, I'm good. And the only reason why is because you could watch it and enjoy it. I will watch it and I will criticize myself 500 different ways. And then I depress myself. So I never watch my work back. I just take your guys' word for it. If you guys give me constructive criticism, I take it in. But it was cool. It was cool. It was different because it's all strippers in that movie. So it was a lot of ass, but it's fun. I remember when I got there, I was like, all right, let's do it. And the guy really just booked me off of my voice. So I was hosting a screening and the director, Jean-Claude, was there at the screening that I was hosting. And he asked one of the guys at the station, like, who is that? And they're like, oh, that's Cece. She does, our middays. And he's like, I really like her voice. Like, I would like to put her in the movie. So they told me, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm not a big actor, but I'll whatever. And I went in there and I killed it and it was good. And I taped for 2 days? It was 2 days worth of taping. And that was it, was in and out. And yeah, but it was funny because then you see the guys and I'm just like, oh my God. But other than that, it was cool. I just never seen it. I've never seen it. And my friends watch it because it still comes on the other day. This is just some personal BS, but me and Guap were at home and he's like, find a movie for us, babe. And I'm like, all right. So I'm scrolling down and we're trying to look for movies and we hit Chocolate City and he's like, you want to watch it? And I was like, no, I'm good. And I was like, no. He's like, why, you don't want to watch Chocolate City? And I'm like, hell no. I was like, I'm good. I don't want to see myself. So I did see it, but it was fun. And Vivica Fox was amazing. And the good thing is that what I love about that movie is that the people on set, production, And everybody else said I was super easy to deal with. And they're like, man, you're so easy. You come in. I came in hair, makeup ready, read my lines, came in, and I was out. And they really appreciated that I was super professional. So that made me feel good. And I'm like, whatever you guys need. But when I got back to work, everybody was like, how did you like it? And I was like, honestly, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I don't like acting. And they said no. And I'm like, no, it's hard. I said, I like improvising. I like to think off the cuff. That's why I like television a lot, because a lot of improvising and I'm good with that. But I think with film, it's just hard. Like I give it to actors. It's not easy being an actor. I tried it and I was not very good at it.
Hey, but you know what? The fact that you actually got out there and you did it, you got to appear in the movie alongside Vivica A. Fox, Mekhi Phifer, Genuine. That in itself is a major deal. So again, congrats to you for everything you've accomplished. And, you know, I want to mention something because I know you talked about Guap earlier. So when you shot that movie and there was guys running around, what did Guap got to say about that? Did he have something to say about that?
No,
He's like, what's going on?
He dropped me off and I was like, stay, babe. Like, I got my trailer, like just stay on set with me and then we'll film and then we can dip. And then there goes the guy with like no shirts walking around and he's like, no, I'm good. And he just dropped me off. But no, you know what? Guap is so easy. He's like, look, this is work and get out there and work. And he knows how I am. So he just knows I'm in there. I'm getting the job done and I'm leaving. And I'm not one to like linger. And I'm definitely not one to like really like party. So I'll do what I got to do. I might chop it up with a couple of people and then I'm out.
Okay, right on. And you know, while we're on that same subject, let's talk about Guap. For those of you that don't know or you're not familiar, get familiar because Guap is actually a very well-known videographer here in LA. He's done music videos for Dillinger. He's done stuff for Snoop, all kinds of West Coast artists out here. So let's talk about him because I know recently we just found out about something that's very big. It's in the works, right? He just proposed. So let's talk about the engagement. Tell us a little bit more about how the engagement went about.
It was, it happened at my house on Christmas Eve. You know, Latinos, we celebrate Christmas on the 24th. So it was at my house and I had told everybody like who was, well, not everybody. My house was, I mean, we had intimate because of COVID. So I had like my intimate, like my immediate family and then his immediate family. And I told everybody, I said, okay, for Christmas, I want to do like Christmas pajamas, come relax. They're like, all right, cool. And apparently he had asked my mom's, for my mom's hand in, or what do you say? Like permission. He asked my mom's, for my hand in marriage.
Yeah. Permission,
and so my mom was super excited. She didn't tell me only my sister and my mom knew. And, yeah, we were unwrapping gifts and everything. And I remember I was talking to, I want to say his nephew, and I was talking to his nephew and he was trying to get my attention. And then my mom said, Mija, Guap wants you. And I turned around and he was on his knees and I was like, oh my God. And he's like, you're my best friend. I love you. Will you spend the rest of your life with me? And it was weird because at that moment, I felt like I needed my mom's validation for whatever reason. And I remember I paused just for a second, but not because of him, because I plan on spending the rest of my life with that man. But because at that quick second, nobody could tell me at that second. I don't know why I needed my mom's like her validation. And I don't know why I needed that, but I needed it.
Yeah, it's moms. You know what I'm saying? Like you want her to kind of like be supportive of that.
Right. So I look at him and I turn around and I said, where's my mom? And my mom said, I'm right here, baby. And I said, okay. And then I looked and I said, yes, of course. And he got excited. I started crying and it was so beautiful. And my whole family was super excited. And my mom sent pictures to my entire family. And yeah, now we're planning a huge ass wedding. It's going to be in LA. And we do so much work for a lot of people. So there were so many people already reaching out to see if we needed any help, that they would be there. So we have a lot of people in LA are backing us up and supporting us. But yeah, we're going to get married and we're excited. And yeah, that's it. And you know what's cool is that Snoop Dogg called and congratulated us. And I think what the coolest part was that Snoop told him, he was like, man, he was like, congratulations. He was like, y'all are going to be married forever. And I thought, oh, that's awesome. Like that was dope.
Amazing. Congrats to you both.
Thank
I wish you both the best of luck with your marriage. But, you know, let me ask you this. So is there a date already like in mind for the wedding? What's the date? Okay. Still thinking about it?
No, we have the date. I just don't want to say it out loud because it's a really dope date and I haven't got the venue yet. So when I do know the venue, I'll tell you, but I'm so nervous because I'm just nervous that I don't want to jinx it. I'm like, my mom's like, are you going to make the announcement? I'm like, until I get the venue, I want to be able to say, here's the money down on the venue and be like, all right, this is the date. Nobody can steal this venue away from me. So I'm still looking at the venues.
So what does your ideal wedding look like?
Oh my God, it's huge. Music's going to be off the chain. Obviously I work at KDAY. You know what I mean? I have access to KDAY DJs, Power 106 DJs. So it's going to be awesome. The good thing is that there's a lot of DJs on both end on Power and KDAY, and actually Callie that have already come up to me and it's like, see, whatever you need, I got you. Like you need music, I got you. So it's going to look really big. It's going to be traditional, like in the sense of like mariachis and stuff. You know, we're both Mexicanos, so we're both like come from, you know, big families. So it's going to be a big wedding. It's definitely going to be big. Expect some lowriders. You know what I'm saying? We're from the West Coast, both of us. So we're going to keep it super West Coast. It's going to be dope.
Hey, speaking of lowriders, you were actually in that lowrider video for Daz, right? That just came out a couple months ago. I saw it. I watched it. I thought it was actually the record's dope, obviously, but the fact that you were in the music video, you guys shot that in Whittier, right? Is that where it happened?
Bro, we shut down Whittier Boulevard. Like we shut down Whittier Boulevard. It was like around 3:00. We got all the lowriders. They're like, well, let's head out to Whittier. All right, cool. So we head to Whittier. There are some motorcycles there, thank God. And one of the homegirls in the lowrider told the motorcycles, go up ahead, start blocking traffic and make us come through. So we blocked off traffic. We flipped a bitch. Everybody jumped out. It was so freaking G'd up how we did it. And they're like, literally, they were timing. They're like, you have literally 7 to 8 minutes before the cops come. So Guap got off. We're filming. Everything's cool. The cops roll up after a while. Everybody's running into the cars. But it was so cool because, you know, the cops being Chicanos, they got it. And they're like, all right, hurry up. You got 1 more minute. Let's go. So we got 1 more minute extra filming and then we headed out. But yeah, I was like, oh my God, did we really shut down Whittier Boulevard at 3:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday? What is going on? But yeah, we pulled some gangster shit. We just did it. And it was amazing. It was really hot that day. But what's good is that the people that were like, we kind of blocked traffic with, they weren't so mad because they saw Daz. So they got excited and they were pulling out their phones and it's so close because traffic shut off. So they were taking pictures. So it was such a good time.
You know, Cece, you and your fiance, Guap, you guys both have a very strong relationship with so many artists from Daz to Snoop. But I know there was one guy in particular that you were very close with. And we just recently lost him, and it's an unfortunate situation the way it went down. But Slim 400, I know you were very close to him. Guap was obviously a good friend of his, and they had worked various times together. Can you tell us a little bit more about what your relationship was like with Slim 400?
It's been hard. It's still hard. It's still a process. You know, Slim was a friend, and there was a couple of news outlets, Irv, that reached out to us and wanted us to talk about it. And I couldn't because it was my friend. And that's what I kept saying to the news outlets that, you know, kept contacting me like, hey, can we speak on this? Can we do a Zoom? And I said, no. And I turned them all down. And I said, you got to understand, like, he's my friend. You're asking me to go on the news and to talk about my friend, the man that has done so much for us. I had a birthday party, a couple years back, and I wanted it to be private. Like I literally was like, at that moment in my life, I was like, I don't want a lot of people. I only want 10 people. And I only want the 10 closest people in my life. And Slim was one of them. And Slim was at my birthday party and it felt good. And Slim was one of the first people to give Guap, was one of the first people to give Guap a chance. Slim was a good person. And I think I want you guys to realize is that this man was funny and he laughed and he loved to hug and he was always there and he was always cracking jokes. Like him and Guap would go back and forth. It would be so hilarious. And we would just be sitting there just laughing the entire time. And whenever Slim or Mud needed us to go somewhere, we were there because it's so important to really, really make time and to support people that support you. And Slim was one of the people that supported us. And as a couple, always like always praised us. We've always praised him, and it was nothing but love. Always love with Slim. When Slim got shot the first time, the first station he came to was KDAY because of us. And when he came up, you could tell he was still sore. He was walking slowly. He was sitting down slowly, but he still was here and he still was cracking jokes. So it's hard for me and Guap. And it's crazy because sometimes we'll sit there and we're talking and then all of a sudden we just space out and I'll talk about Slim and I'll just be like, man, like, I don't know, like this is tough for me. And it's tough for Guap too. And yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say except that, want to keep that man's memory alive. Shout out to Mud Dollars because Mud Dollars is really the one that is going above and beyond to make sure that nobody forgets about Slim. So if you guys can, make sure you follow Mud Dollars and support him because he's doing some great work. But yeah, it's been really, it's tough. It's tough when you lose people, and it's like the pandemic has already fucked us up in our minds. You know what I mean? Then when you lose your friends and then it's like, not even friends, but like, because there's some people you lose in the industry and they're associates and you're like, oh, they were associates, but they were cool associates. But then when it's different, when it's your friend, when it's somebody you break bread with, and that was hard with me. And I had a conversation with my mom and I said, Mom, people are calling me up because they want me to talk about him, but I don't want to because like, I don't want to get no TV shine off this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. That like, he's my friend. Like, and I don't think I could have even held myself together. The day that Slim, when he passed away, when we came back, was the next day. It was the first time since I worked at KDAY that nobody saw me with makeup. Like I'm always, you guys know, I'm always with my hair done, my makeup, like I always try to be presentable. And that was the first time in years, probably the first time since I ever got hired at KDAY in radio in general, that I came with no makeup on. I had a beanie on. It was bad. It was bad. It was a bad day for me. And I didn't want to come to work. I wanted to stay home and I wanted to cry my eyes out. But I came to work because I didn't want anybody to deliver that message on air about Slim except for me. Because I loved him. He was my friend. And he was so good to me and my fiance. So I did come to work strictly for that. Like I was going to deliver that because I was like, nobody else is going to deliver because y'all didn't have that bond like I had with Slim. So yeah, it's been hard, but
yeah,
but you keep praying.
Yeah. And our condolences go out to his family. I know he had a daughter too, which is really hard. And, the reason why we brought him up in general is because Cece, I know he was your friend. Obviously, like I can tell just how you express yourself about him. The bond was there, man. Like you said, he looked out for Guap back in the day as well. And that's something that could never be forgotten. So, we bring him up because at the same time, he was part of our journey. He was part of your journey. And, it's unfortunate too, because, we've lost so many rappers in LA the past few years. And I know you were also there when Nipsey had passed away. You had met him back in the day as well. And I know you had showed up to, the video shoot. You were also part of when he passed away, you showed up to the store. I think you were like one of the first ones that showed up that morning, the day after he passed away. You were at the Marathon store, right?
Yes.
And so it's just crazy the fact that we've been losing so much like talent out here in LA, and the key the key to take away from all this is just that we gotta unite, man. We can't just let this shit happen anymore. Like I wish this thing ends, but I know living in LA, this is part of the culture, and I just I pray for everybody out there that's going through some shit.
No, it was hard when Nip passed. That was really hard for me. I worked really hard when we did the music video. I'm actually the one that actually connected J. Cruz to be in the video, and I was like, "Hey, Cruz, this would be dope for you. Be in the video, yada yada yada." And Cruz was with it. And one of the scenes where he's in the car, Hussle and Motivate, and I'm in the back seat. You guys don't know, but I'm in the back seat trying to film, but I had to lay down so they didn't get me on the camera. So it was really cool experience, but to be around Nip was a whole different vibe that I can't explain it unless you were around him. He was just he prophesized. He was just such a good person, but very calm. And he had this really cool demeanor about him. And you can tell everything was 100% authentic when it came to Nip. So that was something that was really hard. it was hard. It felt like when Nip passed, it felt like the whole city of LA got quiet. And it was just this veil of sadness around the city. And it just showed you how much Nip was so important and still important to, you know, the culture, hip hop culture and the West Coast culture and the LA culture. So yeah, that was hard too. And I just feel like I tell Guap, I was like, it hurts me when I lose people like that. And I don't take those changes easily. Like, I'm not the type to be like, oh, it happens and shrug it off. It hits. When it hits me, I get hit. I'm so in tune with people. If you tell me a sad story and you're telling me and you're crying, I'm crying for you. Like, it's just what it is. I feel the pain. And that was a really tough time. And I'm like, man, we just got to be more, you know, careful. Sometimes it's okay to just walk away. You can be the bigger person and walk away. You know, I don't want to lose any more people.
Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, when going back to what you said about how, like, you know, when something happens, like if someone tells you a sad story, you said you feel for that person or whatever the situation is. And I know you do, because you genuinely care about people. You know, you can tell right off the bat. Like when I met you a couple of years ago. We were doing an event for the registrar recorder's office. And I remember, I think I told you about my dog, because you have some dogs too. And I remember you told me how like you feed him like all this fancy, like bougie food. And then you give him like water bottles to drink. I was like, that's dope. You obviously care about your dogs. But I remember I told you about my dog too, and how my dog had passed away at the time. And I know you felt it, because when you were just kind of like expressing your condolences for me and like my family and what we had just gone through at the time, because we had just lost our dog at the time. And I don't know if you remember, but at that time I was a mess, man. I was doing that event with you that day, and I was just like, I don't even know how the hell I'm here, because it had just recently happened. So, but,
yeah.
you know,
and when you told me, I wanted to hug you so bad and just be like, I'm so sorry for you, but I didn't want to make you more sad. So I was trying to like I felt it though, because I was like, when you told me, all I could think about was, I was like, oh my God, like if that was Coco or Charlie, like I wouldn't even be here. I would be in bed crying. Like my dogs are everything to me. So I totally understood it. And I do feel like that. Like every time I don't know what it is. It can be a blessing and a curse, but I feel for a lot of people. And I think that's why I give back a lot to the community. And I try to be in the community a lot. And that's because I feel like sometimes I think that people need help. And I think for us as people of color, Black and brown, we have to be out there and we have to reach out to people. And there's not a lot of places for people of color to go to. So I always try to, you know, go out there and really help out. I did something different for Thanksgiving, where I normally do a food drive. I wanted to do something a little different last year, and I did a food drive for street vendors. And that's because I started seeing a lot of street vendors, you know, getting beat up, getting robbed, just going through a tough time, that I wanted to do something a little different. And I did that. And that really made me feel good. It was a success. And then for Christmas last year, I adopted an orphanage in Tijuana, and we collected some stuff too. So it's like, I always try to do what I can, because I come from humble beginnings. And of course we all probably have and struggled, and we all probably grew up on EBT and stuff. And so I remember what it's like. And I really had nobody to influence me. Thank God my family did. But if those kids don't have their family, then I want to be that person, because they need somebody to help them.
So Cece, because we have so many people that are on their grind, they're also on their hustle, just like you. If you could offer them any advice as far as like them accomplishing their goals and pursuing their dreams, what would you say to these people?
Study your craft. Try to research your craft. Try to get a mentor that will help you. Shadow somebody. Listen. When I used to when I was doing radio and I was barely starting out, I would listen to other radio personalities, and I would listen to their talk breaks, and I would try to, like, you know what I mean, catch the tone and stuff when I first started. So I would say, really research your craft, know who you are, because when you get in this industry, whether you're a guy or a girl, they're going to try to change you and they try to conform you. And there's going to be times where you're probably going to have to fight the battle of your life and knowing who you are. And that's okay too. I remember Julio G told me, always have integrity in this business. And that's something you'll always have. And that's what I have. I mean, there's some battles that I thought I was going to lose, and I was adamant about it, and I stood my ground, and I ended up winning those battles. And I'm like, thank God I had the guts to speak up. I had the guts to not just go along with it. So I'm a very vocal person in the industry, and I think that's what I'm known for. But I'm also raised a certain way that I know who I am as a woman and as a Christian and as an Angelino. So I don't really allow anybody to conform me. And so I would just say, please just know who you are and know that if times get tough, it's okay. We're all going through that. And there's going to be a moment in your life. I promise you, there's going to be a moment where you're like, man, is this really for me? Can I do this? Yes, you can. If you have the heart for it and you have the ganas and this is what you want to do, don't even listen to anybody else. Do what you want to do and make your dreams come true. Like really focus on that, because that's what's going to make you happy in the end. I get to do music and do radio every single day. I'm on air 8 hours a day and I'm able to pay my bills doing it. I consider myself successful. Am I rich? By any means? No, I'm not rich, but I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to have a beautiful home with doing what I love to do. So I consider myself successful.
Yeah, and that's solid advice. I want to say that you are rich though, because look at the blessings around you. You obviously got a good man standing right by you, standing right by your side. You got a good mom that's always supportive of what you do, and you got good friends. You know what I'm saying? So yes. I consider myself a friend. So, I got your back too, girl.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cece, are there any other current projects that you're working on?
So I'm part of LAFC, their ambassadorship program. I'm excited about that. I'm also going to be working on a new TV series. It's going to be on a streaming app, but we're working on that. So I'll be having my own weekly, my 30-minute weekly talk show. So it's going to be awesome. You're going to be able to watch my show on Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, Fire Stick. So it's going to be an amazing 30-minute show, and they're already talking about growing it into an hour. So that's going to be cool. But that's something that I have been working on since last year. We have been having meetings, putting the decks together, and it's taken a minute because I'm doing it all myself and my team. Like, that's it. Like, I'm cutting out the middleman. And that's the amazing thing, is that you're able to do things on your own. And that's where I'm like, you know what? I don't need a big corporation behind me. I only need the city. And as long as I got the city, I'm good. So hopefully you guys will watch it. And then also too, what else am I working on? There's just so much that I'm doing right now. I'm doing the talk show. Oh, I'm working with Getty Museum. So you'll start seeing me. I did something in December to tease it. I did something at the Long Beach Museum, but you'll start seeing on my Instagram where I'm going to be doing a lot of more arts and museums and galleries, because right now what they're trying to do is get more Latinos back into the art scene. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm excited to be working with the Getty Museum as well.
Okay. So a lot of things coming this year. Make sure you guys keep in touch with her, stay connected. They can follow you on social media. So for anybody that still hasn't followed you, Cece, tell them where they can reach you, where they can stay up to date with everything coming up.
Okay. Yes. You guys can follow me at I am Cece Valencia, at I am Cece, Cece Valencia. And you can see everything there. I post all the time, and anything you guys need, let me know. If there's anything happening in the community, holla at your girl.
Cece, we thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate you coming on and just telling us your journey, your story, and hopefully your story inspires others to go out there and do their thing. We look forward to everything that you've got going on this year. So thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And congratulations on your podcast and all your success. You definitely deserve it.
Thank you so much, girl. And with that being said, Cece, stay on your Grizzly.
Grizzly all day, every day. Grr, let's go.
Get it, pop. Let's get it.
Yo, that's what I'm talking about.
Don't miss a thing. Subscribe to the Grizzly Podcast YouTube channel to access full episodes, video clips, and more on YouTube. The most authentic podcast is online at grizzlypodcast.com and on all major podcast platforms. Guest appearances and real conversations that will push you to hustle. The Grizzly Podcast is now streaming.
Hi, and welcome to Trademark Expediters.
Whether you need a trademark or copyright, we can help make the process easy and affordable. Protect your company name, logo, or slogan with the trademark. Protect your songs, books, photographs, and other creative works with a copyright. Complete our easy online questionnaire in 15 minutes or less. Clear pricing, no hidden fees. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Get started today. Learn more at trademarkexpeditors.com or call one of our friendly specialists at 1-800-510-1082. Affordable, easy, expedited service. Trademark Expeditors.
Yo, turn it up. Hard work, dedication, and progress. Stay on your Grizzly. Yeah. Thanks for checking out another Grizzly Podcast episode. We'll see you next time.